Hello Quest friends, today we're going to talk about chases in RPGs. This is always an interesting subject, I think, and how different game masters and games systems deal with this.
If you're interested in supporting the making of these videos, check out our website, questgivers.com. We have plenty of modules, quick quests, NPCs, and even miniatures that you can purchase to help make these videos a reality. And of course, these videos help you to become a better game player, game master, and all over nice person. There's two types. We've got mechanically done chase scenes and event-driven chase scenes, and we kind of merge them into twos, and you can kind of pick out the things that you can use. You don't need to use all of these. You can just use some of them, and each one of them is going to help you create that awesome chase scene. Like, what is a mechanically driven chase scene?
A mechanically driven chase scene would be, I've seen different systems with cards, like you use cards to do, to do that. You use dice rolls and that kind of thing. The event driven could be like, each player might say what they're doing for the chase scene, or write it down or something, and then you kind of all reveal at the same time, like what everybody's doing, that kind of thing. So there are different ways to run the chase scenes, but you can do it for your game. But I think there's some things that we're going to talk about that you can really think about to kind of spice up chase scenes, kind of spice up chase scenes, and make them fun and dynamic. I think you really want to make them dynamic, right?
The dynamism is important, and the biggest factor in any kind of chase is time. Now, we've done several videos on time and timers and timing, so you can refer to those videos, but there's a liberal use of timers and clocks and that kind of, not a literal clock, there's a little clock ticking on the cart that we're in, but the goblin cart that's chasing you is going to be here in 3 rounds. We're going to click down each round. They're getting closer and closer and closer. The dragon is chasing you. It's going to be here in 10 rounds and use its breath weapon. What are you going to do? And you count down those rounds. You're running out of time as this thing gets closer to you. How do you pull away? You're adding some time. So now you're down to about 3, and you found a way to kind of leap ahead 4. So you add 4 to the dice. So you get that sort of pull back and get forward. So you can use time to really amp up the tension and the drama of what's happening. What about control? Let's say they're in a cart or something. When does control come into it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, control can be fun. Control could be who kind of is controlling the chase, right? Are you trying to, force the opponent to do things, to take chances? You're right on their tail. You want them to take chances. You're trying to take control, or maybe they're trying to take control by leading you in to a dangerous area. They've got things planned out. So, or it also can be if you're in some kind of vehicle or something like that, maintaining control of whatever vehicle you're in. Whether it's a ramshackle cart, Willow, say, the chase in Willow, or you're in some kind of futuristic speeder and you're going around like kind of junk terrain and that kind of thing. It's about control of that. If the player you're chasing can make you lose control, then they're going to win. So that's an interesting aspect of chases.
That adds the drama and the tension and the action to what's actually happening. I mean, I had in one, I've mentioned this donkey before that the characters could never get rid of. Now, it was pulling the cart. They were in the cart with all their gold that they'd piled up that they hadn't been spending on anything. And the donkey was getting really, really tired, and there's this horde coming up behind him that's, starting to pelt them with arrows. So they're there. One guy's holding onto the donkey while it's running and pouring healing potions down its throat. So, this brings me to the danger behind. There's got to be something that's pushing the chase forward. Always pushing forward. Whether it's the players are chasing the monsters or the whatever to try and catch them, or there's a monster chasing the players to try to catch them, or the ground is falling away behind you and you've got to get ahead of this chasm that you're going to drop off, or there's a huge wave of water or force or whatever. It doesn't matter. There's got to be something pushing it forward.
It could be as simple as, you know, you want to catch this person that's running away, or it could be as dynamic as there's a huge wave behind us going to crush us if we don't get out of here. You know, and that can lead into the skill of the participants, you know, because that's going to be, you know, really part of what's going on. And, you know, a lot of games have skill checks and that kind of thing. Certain characters are better, you know, at doing certain things. You're probably going to have someone end up, you know, in the rear that can't keep up with the rest of the party. You know, maybe you gotta help them to catch up, or, you know, maybe you're hoping to get better, you know, better checks than, you know, the person you're chasing or the things you're chasing. So that always comes into play, and that's part of that mechanical part of the game, right?
You're throwing complications in front of them, because otherwise it's just how can we just stay ahead. But when you throw, like, okay, you're barreling down this cart track, heading towards the bridge you came across earlier, and lo and behold, the bridge has been washed away. Now you've got to, like, jump the donkey cart over the bridge. You know, you got to do, what's that movie, Speed? You got to do the bus scene. You know, that's great, because now it's like, even if the donkey's like, ah, and goes, all the players are flying now, they've got to try and grab onto the edge. They've just lost all their gold and the healing potions they pumped into the donkey. But now they're holding onto the edge, so they've got to hold on. Now, on the other side, you've got the goblins now shooting at them. You've made it, they get onto the ledge, crawling to the edge of the bridge. And there's goblins that have found another way further up the river that are now coming along, and the chase continues. So you can throw these complications in front of the collapsed tree across the thing. You've got now, like, stop the cart, or you've got to fire a fireball to blow up the tree so that you can ride through. You can collapse a tree behind you to try to stop the goblins, and they've got to take an extra 2 or 3 rounds. You just added some time. These complications are the things that are going to make it really exciting and interesting, just like what I'm saying now.
And, you know, you could even take the complications further and maybe have a catch and release, right, where you actually grab the person you're chasing, but maybe they use a spell to pop away. You know, they use a spell to get away, or they're just very skilled at what they do and they just slip right out of your hand. You know, so, and it's like the chase is on again. So, you know, that can you know, think about ways you can throw that in. You know, and the players can do this too to their adversaries. If the play, you know, if the enemies are after them, they can do this, you know, themselves, and, you know, be slippery, so to speak, and get away. You know, the catch and release type thing, or, you know, unintentional release.
Yeah, I mean, and you can have, for instance, you can have 2 players escape and 2 players are stuck with the goblins, let's say, and the goblins are carrying the other 2 as they're chasing these 2 players. Now, the 2 players that are being held by the goblins, they're conniving their escape, and they've got a little dagger, and they, you know, cut themselves out of the bag or whatever. They start fighting the goblins on the carriage, while the other guys are now pelting them with fireballs and arrows. You know, and eventually they take control. Now you've got 2 carts. You know, you've basically you've started to variate what's happening. Now, variations between rounds is also important as well. So it's not just 2 carts next to each other, shoot. It's like the carts do this, so the ranges change. So this round, 2 goblins can hop on, but then, you know, the carts are no longer together, and so you have time to combat these 2, and then they're catching up again because the donkey can't handle the 5 people that are in the cart with all the gold. You know, these are the things. And so you begin to variate what's happening. You change the environment as well. So how the environment impacts the chase. So these things you should think about as the GM. Think ahead and what you can throw into the path to make this more interesting. And of course, using resources.
Oh yes, that is one of my favorite in-game things, because that not only challenges the players, but they have to use stuff up that they've got, you know, whether it's skill, whether it's, you know, daily talents or skills, or, you know, magic items or magic things. You know, they've got to use that stuff up. And it's great. I love players, that do that and find ways to get past stuff. But then they're also giving you something back as the game master where you're using up their resources. So they have less and less choices as the day goes on until they get to rest and get that stuff back. So yeah, I really like using that, and skills, can be a great way for players to use creative ways to use their gear, that they may not normally use, or their magic items or spells that they may not normally use, but the chase gives them the opportunity, like, oh, hey, this spell might be great for this situation. It's not something they normally use for this situation, but this is just perfect. I could trip this person up by just using the spell. So yeah, I think that's a great thing to have in chases and to encourage your players to do.
Like if you had a small sling or a catapult and you've run out of rocks, and then you've got this pile of gold next to you, so you start using gold coins. The game is a constant thing of attrition. You're always wearing down what the characters have. That's like part of the game, is to wear and chip away at what they've got. So they use the things that they've been finding and have been given, so that they have to then find more things, and that just propels everything forward. I mean, really the chase scene is a sped up version of everything else you're doing in the game. So you can structure a chase scene just like a normal story, because a normal story is effectively just a slow chase scene. It's got all the same elements to it. You're just running it at 100 miles an hour.
That's a great thought, because you're just fast. It's the game on fast forward. Essentially, it's the story on fast forward. So that's really cool. And I think for the final thing you really need to do is you want to think about the ramifications, right, of what happens with the chase. So if this person gets away, how does that affect the story? How does that affect the characters? If the characters capture this person or whatever, or they get captured themselves, how does that affect the story? How will you deal with that? So you always want to think about how that affects the story one way or the other, because if you're playing a game where it's variable, you can't count on everything happening. You can't count on them catching this person or them getting caught. So you want to bake that kind of into your story, or at least think about it. Think about what would happen if either side doesn't get what they want, right?
Yeah, if they're like a party that's really skilled and, a handful of goblins in a cart, they're going to stop the cart and just beat the shit out of the goblins. So you need to then have 100 goblins or 1,000 goblins. So they're like, okay, we can't fight 1,000 goblins. We better get in the cart and get out of here. The ramifications of not doing this is real bad. But I think one more thing I'd like to add is you should shorten the rounds and the turns that characters have. So if you're using strict turn order like we like to do, and you normally give people 30 seconds, give them 10. They've got to make a decision, boom, because if they're frustrated and they're flustered and whatever, that's what happens in a chase. Like the guy didn't have his bow ready and he couldn't fire because he didn't oh, damn, your 15 seconds are up next. You fumble, you drop your sword, it falls off the side of the cart. Right, now you've got to try and find another weapon. That will, again, speed everything up and just dial it up to 11. So thank you once again for watching Quest Givers. Check out our website where you can purchase modules and all kinds of other bits and pieces, and we have a Kickstarter on September 1st. And we'll see you next Friday in our next exciting video.
See you guys next time. Take care.
Egg salad.